Hi, I'm Tracy Pierce. Thanks for joining me for this Live with the Animals video series. So this series started back in March of 2020 when the whole pandemic kind of exploding around the world. And in my part of the world in the United States, March was when places started to go into lockdown, different levels of quarantine, shelter in place kind of orders throughout the country. And this made me really curious what the animals thought about this whole situation. And so they kept pinging me, ping, ping, like, Tracy, you need to do this video series and give us a chance to share our voice with the world. And so that's how this started. And here we are many months later, and there's still a lot of animals showing up who want to share their wisdom with us. So you may have noticed we got a little bit of a technology upgrade since our last video. Joining us today, oh, I guess it's on this side. Joining us today is a hairy comma butterfly. So this butterfly, I was visiting Rocky Mountain National Park here in Colorado, and we stopped at this picnic area, and this butterfly just came and landed on my hand. And it was quite funny because there were several people there who wanted to come and take pictures. But I managed to get this amazing picture of this butterfly. And also I want to show you a quick video here. I hope it will work. But here's the video of the butterfly on my hand. And look, you can, if you watch, you can see it's like kind of kissing me with its little feeler thing. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing. So it was a pretty amazing day, and this butterfly really seemed like it had something to share with us. It was very much showing off. So we're gonna go ahead and get tuned in and start connecting with this butterfly and see what it wants to share with us today. So if you're joining me live and you have questions for this butterfly, you can type them into the chat on Zoom or just type them into the comments if you're watching on Facebook. So I'm just going to get quiet and start tuning into this butterfly. So it immediately is transporting me back to when it was landing on me. And there was just this sort of feeling of joy about it. And like all the people who were there were just kind of awestruck, like, wow, there's just this sort of like burst of color and joy. And it reminds me, there were no kids there when this happened, but we were all like, there was this energy of being a young kid, like exploring and seeing something really cool for the first time. And this butterfly is also pointing to just its beauty. Like, look at this picture. It's amazing, the coloring and the detail, and like it's just so delicate. Yeah, and now it's showing itself like floating on the wind and having this just delicate way of approaching life. It says life gets pretty heavy for some of the humans sometimes. It's good to remember the lightness of being. Yeah, it's just showing itself. It's almost like it's surfing the air a bit. It has that real, there's this gentle flowingness about it. Yeah, it's showing that's a big part of its its mission, if you will. People who come to the park is like, so it's showing like this particular little picnic area that we stopped at seemed really magical. Like there was just this energy that was there. And so the butterfly is showing me how there's a particular flavor or a particular kind of person that stops at this picnic area and is drawn there. There's a magicalness about the animals. So not that the animals aren't, magical throughout the park, but There is something special that she's showing, like there's a particular energy. It's almost like a column of light that comes down, shining on this particular picnic area. Like the little animals like to come and interact and remind people of being, you know, what it was like to be a kid, and when you'd go outside and explore and like see all these beautiful, amazing creatures that you're just seeing for the first time. Like there's this uplifting kind of, I feel this, it's in my heart, like this uplifting kind of feeling in my heart that just kind of wants to go up and like burst forth. Do you feel like there's a way, I mean, you know, seeing you really brought that out in me, but is there a way that people could bring that out in themselves in daily life? Or so the butterfly is saying, well, I mean, you could decorate your house in a way that would remind you of these kind of things. It's showing like this picture would be really amazing to be, you know, make it into a canvas or something, and to have this image in your house, Tracy. Like what kind of energy would that bring into your house to have something that reminded you of that magical day? And people could do that, like it's showing how, you know, us grown-ups, we can tend to be very what's the word? I keep hearing the word adult. Like we want to be adults when we decorate our houses, and, you know, this matches that and this matches that. And there's this whole color scheme and it looks mature. But, you know, what would it be like to bring these sort of whimsical items or pictures into your space? It's really encouraging us to look at our spaces and what kind of energy it brings into our life. And he's saying, yeah, Tracy, you know, there's a little bit of decluttering you need to do in your house, but like it's showing, like reminding me that even since we moved in here, we haven't really hung up many pictures or things like that. It's been pretty simple. Like, what would it be like to bring these whimsical items into your place and help you remember to be in touch with these parts of ourselves? Checking for any questions we might have for our butterfly friend. Not seeing any at the moment. So I feel like you're showing me you're a female butterfly. Yes, it's just showing how sex isn't quite as important in the butterfly world somehow. Yeah, the reproduction is different. It's not like humans. I do feel more female, though. There's a sense of this Venusian kind of energy with the butterfly, very, very feminine, very beautiful. Yeah, so the butterfly is reminding me, like, you know, being Venusian isn't just about being feminine. Like, being Venusian also has a lot to do with the childlike energy. You know, like the Venus energy also helps take care of children as well. And yeah, there's this sparkliness, this kind of creativity piece that kind of comes alive with the butterfly and the energy that it brings. So I wonder how you feel about things happening in the world today, you know, with coronavirus or, you know, crazy political things that seem to be happening in the world today. Any thoughts about that? Or well, as far as like coronavirus and the pandemic goes, it feels like it's showing me like a heartbeat kind of monitor where it's like, oh, this is just kind of a blip along the way. like humanity has been through these kind of ordeals before. It's showing me like Spanish flu. But the butterfly says it looks different today because of our technology and how we are connected, especially through social media, to each other. And this has really affected the way this particular pandemic has looked so much different than other ones in the past. Do you feel like there's anything we could learn from this pandemic? Or I mean, I guess we're not through it yet. I mean, we're definitely at this point of being, people are extremely fatigued from even having to think about it. Um, any advice or thoughts about that? Okay, I'm not sure what this means yet, but it keeps showing me like different heads, like multiple heads, and then this straight line going up. It almost feels like connection to the divine. Um, are you are you showing like this is a chance for us to be more connected? Or it says it really shows like the chaos and everything that has been created in the world due to the pandemic. It really goes and shows what people rest on when things go badly. Like when things fall apart, what do you rest on? Do you rest on your money? Do you rest on your connection to your higher self or your connection to the divine? Are you resting on, so it's even showing like resting on other people? You know, like some people were quarantined by themselves, some people were quarantined, you know, with their families. Just showing how the pandemic has revealed to us how we do really, what our most comfortable way for resting is, I guess. Is that right? Yes, yes. When things go into crisis, what do you rely on? So, you know, like looking back, I mean, we're not through the pandemic. We're in October of 2020 as we're recording this today, but showing how you can look back at the last 6 or 7 months and get a sense of what you're really relying on in your life. And like if that doesn't feel solid, or if something feels off, or whatever, like this is a chance to change that and to really shift things if that's what you're looking for. It's showing how like this really, like this whole situation was a crisis for so many people for so many different reasons. It's really so it's showing me like this kind of like a silhouette of a human, and this crack that's happening. It's almost like the crisis is revealing these cracks in us where we tend to fall apart, or where things tend to break apart. The butterfly is saying this is a real opportunity to say, to look back and go, wow, is this really how I want to live my life? And if it's not, it's time to kind of make a shift. Um, so, I mean, some of us, do you have any kind of suggestions about how to make those shifts? Or, well, it says generally no, because it's going to look kind of different for different people, is what the butterfly is saying. Yeah, it's showing me some things about myself, I think, here, just how, you know, in my own, I was kind of trying to rest on myself, my higher self, or connect to the divine, and how things shifted down here with the people I was connecting with. Okay, looks like we have a question for you. So are there other ways you, little butterfly friend, would suggest to help us stay connected with this magical part of our lives? It's showing me a lot of visual things. So, it's showing me like, here I am, a child of the 80s, right? Those little slap bracelets, that you used to just slap them and they like slap right on. It's showing me like silly little jewelry kind of things. Um, Again, images that you might place in your house or little trinkets kind of thing that remind you of these magical ways of being. It's showing like, it's reminding me of silly things I did like in my 20s. Like I had a little decal of a big smiley face that I put on in my car. Like I think it was in the front window. Maybe there was one in the back window too. But these just like kind of silly, maybe even considered childish kind of things that you could bring into your life. Like it helps remind you that life isn't so serious, and if somebody's gonna like tease you for bringing the magical into your life, then like screw them. Like you don't need these kind of people in your life. And like the way the butterfly is showing it to me, it's almost like this ongoing practical joke, if you will, of um, it just keeps showing me all these silly kind of clothes or hats, or like just bringing silly or fun, sparkly, abnormal things that make you smile and laugh and remember the magical, like bringing those things into your life and just being okay with people thinking you're a weirdo, because you're definitely having more fun than they are. So the butterfly says, uh, yeah, that makes sense to me. Yeah, it's showing me just like some of those little things I guess I have done with my own life, and how much it, silly things like that just kind of make you smile. And yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you. All right, my little butterfly friend, I wonder if is there more that you want to share with us today? I see how bringing the magical in can be so important, and like my experience with you was like that whole experience was so magical, and my heart was just kind of like open after that whole day. It says yes, it really is about finding those kind of things. So especially if you currently have some kind of job or obligations that just feel heavy and like like to find or to really make a priority to, it's saying like at least once a week do something that really makes you feel like a kid. It's showing me all those like I think probably with the pandemic there aren't very many of these open right now, but those like kid gym kind of things where they have the bouncy house or they have the big slides or the climbing wall things, um, doing things like that really bring out the little kid. It's showing me like going to the beach and like digging your hands, or even like a creek, and really getting your hands in the dirt, in the mud, feeling like that. It's reminding us of, we had a conversation with the toad a couple weeks ago that was talking about the kids coming up to them with curiosity and wanting to catch them, and just finding ways to bring those little kid things that maybe you used to do when you were a kid that bring so much joy, really bringing that forward. It's so important. And it shows again the lightness of its wings, of how there's a way of it's showing like the heavy things, our baggage, if you will, that we as humans tend to carry around with us. There's a way of it's showing, so it's showing me that there's like this engagement in the belly that can sometimes hold that baggage in place. So what it's showing is like this relaxation or kind of a letting go in the belly that allows like the stuff to kind of float up. And it's almost like it can just kind of lift off if we can soften our bellies and it's almost like feels like not quite softening the anger, but unlocking something that just allows it to lift up. All right, that's beautiful. All right, I'm taking a look for any last questions or comments. All right, not seeing any. Well, thank you so much, our little butterfly friend, for sharing all your wisdom with us here today. It was such a pleasure to connect with you today and also that day I met you. So thank you so much for sharing your wisdom. And thanks too much for our viewers who joined us today. I hope you'll join us again sometime. And until next time, take care and be well.